Realtors, today I've got my guy Jake on the show, and I'm pumped for this one. If you're an agent who keeps hearing AI this, AI that, and you're still not sure what actually matters in the real world of selling houses, then this is your episode. Jake's got a badass story. Small town roots, strong work ethic, did a solid stint in the military, and then made the jump into real estate. But what really stood out to me is how fast he grabbed the AI side of this game and started turning it into real results. Not just theory, not just shiny tools, but systems that actually make the business easier to run. So we're gonna break down where he came from, how he got started, and what he learned the hard way, and how he's now using AI to create leverage without losing the human side of his business. So let's get into it. What's up, Jake? Dude, super pumped to have you on the pod this week, man. We got a lot to jam out about. One of my favorite things about you, man, is you really did latch onto this AI thing. But before we dive into all the AI craziness that you got going on in your business, let's start at the very beginning, man. Tell us kind of like, where'd you get your start? Like, what was your childhood like? I know you did some really cool stuff, did a nice big stint in the military, and then came out of that and ended up in real estate. So I know everybody's going to be dying to know what that was like and what in God's earth made you decide real estate. So let's jam, dude.
Yeah, man, it's I'm still asking myself what made me dive into real estate, but you know, when I can drink a beer at 1:00 in the afternoon, I mean, what other job lets you do that without getting fired? So,
Facts, dude.
yeah. So I grew up in a real tiny town in Illinois. I lived at a country club. People think I'm a redneck, but I grew up in a country club.
All right, rich
But
boy.
we were the tree dwellers. We weren't the rich people. We lived in the trees back away from everybody. So,
Nice.
but yeah, the town was like 600 people where my school was, and pretty much did nothing but baseball and basketball and all that. I never even hunted growing up in the middle of Illinois. Like these white-tailed deer from North Carolina, they're half the size of the ones there, but you know.
Right.
So yeah, I did that and played baseball in college and got out and graduated from college and realized where we're from, if you're not a doctor or working on the railroad or a farmer, really not much there for you. So started looking into jobs that I could just, make decent money at. And of course, those jobs aren't fun. I worked at a box factory.
Okay.
My first job was standing on a assembly line for 12 hours a day, throwing cardboard sheets through a machine.
Oh boy.
And I was in the National Guard at the time. And I'm like, man, I go from doing fun stuff on the weekends, and once in the summer to coming back to a box factory. So it's like, let's go active duty. So we did that.
Cool.
And ended up in New York. I wanted to find somewhere warm. So they threw me upstate New York, of course. Yeah. And did that, got tired of what I was doing there. It was kind of more office work. And my job is to blow stuff up, and
Okay.
we were working in the division section of it, and I wasn't doing any, real big fun stuff. So I went airborne.
Yeah.
So I went to airborne school, jumped out of some planes, and that landed me. I was hoping to get like Italy or something. It landed me in Alaska. So even more cold weather. So it was fun, but Alaska, man, that was the hidden gem of the Army. That place is amazing, and that's where I fell in love with hunting and the outdoors, and got a real appreciation for nature and all that. And tried to stay up there and ended up down here at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I was trying to avoid.
And there you are.
And here I am, and got out about, November? Got out about 10 months ago now. So.
Okay. So what made you, because I know you were thinking military for a career for a while, right? Like you were like, hey, I could do this. It's super awesome. Not sure if you can talk much about what you did in there, but I know you were.
I didn't do anything that cool.
Okay. All right. He's just being humble, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed everything I did all the way up until the last job position I was in. And I still did enjoy that. It just along the lines of getting promoted, rising through the ranks, and getting into the upper echelon type of stuff, you really start seeing that there is politics in it. There is no consideration for the E6s, the staff sergeant first classes, the captains, the majors, of you're eating up 18 hours of your day to the Army, and there's no consideration for that. But if you got your privates and your dudes that work for you, we're letting them off as early as we can because they can go be with their families, go and do all that kind of cool stuff. But for us, if the job doesn't get done by you, it ain't getting done by anybody, and there's no excuses.
Right.
And it started taking a toll. Like 10 minutes a day to see my kid right before bed, maybe.
Oh, dude.
And he's 3. Like that's the time you want to be around.
Right. Exactly. So, dude, they grow up so damn fast. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
So when did you join the military? Like when you went full active duty?
So in 2015, I went National Guard, and I did that for 2 years, and then ended up getting a release from the Guard to go join active duty. So that was in 2017 is when I did that.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. All right. So you did mostly here in the U.S. They didn't station you outside anywhere. I mean, obviously we didn't have very many conflicts going on there outside of special forces, so you didn't have to go to war or anything like that, which is a good thing, right?
Well, I probably would have stayed in if I would have got some deployments in. I volunteered for so many, and I never had the rank, or like they needed me somewhere else or a school, or I showed up to the base, the duty station too late. Like I just missed them all.
Gotcha. What was your official rank when you left?
I was a staff sergeant, promotable. So I got out in January. March, I would have made sergeant first class, so E7.
Oh,
cool. So I turned that down because it would have been another re-enlistment. And I was like, no, I ain't doing this again.
No, not signing another contract. Yeah, right.
Nope.
But, well, man, kudos to you on the military stuff. I never did any military service, attempted to. Back in 2003, when we started the war with Iraq, I was pretty irritated at the whole situation. I'm a high school dropout. And back in those days, there was quite a bit of volunteers. I mean, there still is, right? The Army is not, any of the branches are not short of people. So I tried to join the Navy to go help our country defeat the issues that we had back then. And they turned me down. They were like, hey, man, like, we've got plenty of people volunteering right now. They got high school educations. This is kind of what we prefer. So it's going to be a no for me, dog. Right? Like,
man, I can't imagine that. Like, straight up turn people down. Like, that's crazy.
And that's one of the things why, like, when we look at other countries and stuff like that, and I'm not going to make this political or anything like that, but a lot of them are involuntary services, right?
Yeah, conscription armies, yeah.
Yeah. And when you look at ours, it's voluntary. We may not be the biggest. I know China has more soldiers than we do, but the difference is that the soldiers that are here and ours want to be there. And I'm telling you, that's why we can't be beat.
No, I 100% agree. There's a lot of people. I've worked with them before, like our allied countries and partner countries and stuff. I've worked with them. Australia, the Philippines, Great Britain, all that good stuff. The UK, I guess it's not Great Britain. I don't know why I said that, but the UK and all that good stuff. Like they do what they do very well, and a lot of the times a lot of stuff is better than ours, or it makes more sense,
Mm-hmm.
But they're good at what they do. They are volunteer. Most of them are, but the simple fact that all of ours are volunteer, like you're gonna actually fight for something. So.
Oh yeah. Big time, man. So yeah, man, much kudos to you. Thank you for your service. Have the utmost respect. My father-in-law did 22 years, Army Air Force. And then my grandfather was in Pearl Harbor. So he was a first-class torpedo man on the USS Detroit. And he had some wild stories that he told us. We actually interviewed him before he passed away. He made it to 98 years old. And right before when he started to kind of turn south, we interviewed him on everything that he did. He told us the entire Pearl Harbor story. What happened after that. He ended up getting, his ship didn't get sunk. It got a little bit damaged, but they were able to get it out to sea. And then they went to the Philippines and started staging there and getting ready to go fight the Asian side of the war there. And it was nuts. And this dude, like, men were men back then. Like, and I'm not dogging.
I wish I was around back then.
Dude, this dude lied about his age to get into the Navy. He was 17 years old when Pearl Harbor was attacked, and he was gung ho, man. Like,
Well, the crazy thing is now some of these soldiers are lying about shit to get out of the Army.
Isn't
Like,
that wild, dude?
you know, like I don't know. I always feel like I was born in the wrong generation.
Right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with
Nothing
that.
against, you know, the younger generation now, but it's just I'm I'm very much an old soul.
Cool. Love it, dude. And it takes a lot, man. I mean, you sacrifice a lot of your life to go out there and fight for our country, and you know, you didn't actually have to fight, but what you do is still extraordinarily important during non-wartime stuff. And getting to the ranks that you get is it's not hard. It's not easy. To get up there. And like you said, a lot of these people just want to get the hell out of there. It's actually funny because when my grandfather, I don't remember exactly what he said, but if you asked him before he died how long he did in the Navy, he tells you down to the hour.
No kidding.
Yeah. He's like,
Wow.
2 years, 17 days, 24 hours, 19 minutes. You know, it's like, damn. When he was done with World War II, he was out. He was like, I'm done. I want nothing more to do with this. This crap that they saw was insane. Same thing with my father-in-law. You know, he made a career out of it. I mean, 22 years is a long time in the armed services, and he did 3 tours in Vietnam and got a Purple Heart. Has a wild story that I can't even tell on YouTube because they'll probably demonetize us if we go into too much details on that. But
like we had my grandpa did like 22 years. My uncle joined at 18, did 30. I want to say 30 years. He ended up being a warrant officer,
nice.
All in the same job essentially. Then he got out of the Army and did contractor work, all in the same job.
Wow.
For another like 20 years. So he had the pension, the disability, and then another government pension. Yeah, he took the government on that one.
Yeah, dude, that's like my father-in-law. He's his disability. He's 100% disabled, but he's also got the military pension and everything along with that, and altogether it's over 6 figures a year. And he's doing very well now and just kind of hanging out. But it's always funny when you see those not funny, but it's wild when you see somebody who's done multiple tours in a combat zone, that look in their eyes, like it's just like the most respect you can have.
Yeah, it's a different like mentality. Like a lot of my family's in it. My cousin was in the Marines and 2012 when it got a little hot there for a while, and my other cousin was doing stuff. He ended up working in 3-letter agencies, you know, and he did a lot of drone work type stuff, but like, you know, the stuff that he sees from his screen is some of the things that just makes you realize like you're grateful for America.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. I love the whole military side of thing. Like I said, I come from a military family, have the utmost respect for it. My uncle was a Marine. Marines are insane. We're just going to go ahead and just say that right now. If you're a Marine, you are nuts. Thank you for being nuts, and thank you for being
in the best way possible.
In the best way possible. I had a couple of buddies in high school that went into the Marines, and they were pretty rough in high school too. Fighters, you know, like always down to squab. And when I was playing in my band, they would, you know, one of my buddies came back. He did a couple of tours in Iraq, came back, and it was no joke, just like major pain for him. He's like, we're sitting there in our practice spot one night, and he's like fresh back, and he's just got this blank look on his face, and everyone's just like, I'm like, dude, hey, what's wrong? Like, you good? And he's like, I ain't killed a man in 3 days. And it's like, he's like, I need to go back. He lived for that shit, dude. And I'm just like, dude, well, thank you for your service, and thank you for being and taking what you know you're good at and just rolling with it. But yeah,
those are those dudes that you need them to do something and like don't ask questions how they get it done.
Yep, exactly. But he was a trained killer, and he was a killer at heart. And even to this day, he didn't assimilate very well back into civilian life. So he's a backwoods dude. He lives on a ranch, and he hunts and kills his own food. And, you know, he's I'm not too sure what he's doing for work now. I think he's an entrepreneur, which you probably have to be at that. But Yeah, you can still see it in his eyes to this day, man. He's just like,
Yeah.
he's like, if they take me, we're getting old now. I'm in my 40s, so I'm about 3 years away from not being eligible for the draft anymore. So if they
Yeah,
ever
no kidding. I
reinstate
went to
that,
basic training with a guy that was 42. It was
isn't that
crazy.
wild, dude? Yeah,
Yeah, it was
man.
wild.
It was it's crazy. My son just turned 18, and I like, this is like literally last week. I was like, hey man, did you ever register? He's like, for what?
Oh God.
Like, dude, you got to register for the draft, man. He's like, oh, do I? So we looked it up, and I was like, oh man, good thing there's a leeway. So they require a registration within 30 days of turning 18, but they give you till you're
I wouldn't have known.
26. I mean, nobody knows, right? And with this
Yeah.
newer generation, like, he was never excited to get his driver's license, and that's where most of us get it, right? Like, I got my driver's license when I was 16, and then when you go to get your driver's license when you're 18 and officially become an adult, the registration happens right then and there.
Yeah.
So for him,
I think that's what we did too. Yeah.
yeah, they don't give you the choice. If you're a man in the United States and you're a civilian and you're a citizen here, it's an automatic registration. So you get your draft card. They're like, hey, save this and blah, blah, blah. So he didn't get it. So I'm like, hey man, like, he's like, it's crazy to sound like he doesn't want to drive. The only reason he's getting his license right now is because he's going into real estate. And I'm like, I'm not going to drive you to your showings, dude. So you're going to have to do this.
Show up on the bicycle, man.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that, you know? So I'm like, yeah, you need to register for the draft. So we looked it up, and it's like $250,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison if you fail to register for the draft and you turn 26.
Dude, that gives you more respect for those draft dodgers, though. I'm telling you, like, yeah, like that's good for you. You dodged it.
You dodged it. My buddies did. I know this is like we're going way off topic, but I love this subject.
We're gonna piss off so many people.
That's all right. They can deal with it. You know, this is it's crazy. So one of my best friends in high school, his dad dodged the draft in Vietnam, ended up going to Canada, came back. They knew who he was. So once you dodge a draft and they know you dodge a draft, like, dude, you're in some deep shit. Yeah, you're wanted. So he left the country, came back, and did prison time for dodging the draft. Man. And then they ended up letting him out early for good behavior and stuff, and he went and did his thing. But yeah, he paid the price for dodging that draft.
Dude, we had I remember, I'll never forget this. I showed up at Fort Drum the first month I was there. There's this dude walking around the barracks. Like, keep in mind, these are all like 18, 19-year-old kid, private kid. And I was like 25, and me and my wife just got married before I left, and she hasn't came up yet. So like, while I'm waiting for housing, staying in the barracks and trying to just stay away from these young kids, because it's like, I don't want anything to do with them, you know?
Right.
And I see this guy with long blonde ponytail, just unbelievably out of shape. And I'm like, something's not adding up here.
Right.
And I guess he ended up going AWOL, leaving, like, without any sort of permission whatsoever, and like 10 years ago. And he was like a lab tech at an ER and all this stuff, and like dodged everybody all the time, and ended up getting hemmed up when his buddy that he was riding with was driving with a taillight out. So they asked for his ID, brought him back. And then no shit, 2 weeks later, they end up losing this guy again. It was some wild stuff at the barracks, I'll tell you that.
That's nuts, man. Yeah. Crazy life out there, dude. Something that's you know, but one thing that I do credit to it, and I've talked to my son about joining the military, for the pure fact that the amount of discipline that you learn inside that system is nuts. And that's one of the reasons why I wish I could have gone. I mean, I'm getting better at my discipline now. I run 3 companies and I do well in life. I'm not like bad, but like,
how long did it take you to get to that? You know,
a long time, dude. Yeah. So I'm like, if you get it beat in your head when you're 18, like, you got a bigger shot at life, you know, when you get out. So I think
the discipline and the respect is like the 2 biggest things. It's the respect that, like, I'd say I just met you, right? Like, I don't know you from Adam, but so at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna give somebody the utmost respect until they don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Right. But like, when you go somewhere else and you see somebody my age, you know, wherever it may be, and they're just unbelievably disrespectful people, right, they don't even know. Yeah.
I never understood that either. And maybe that was being, you know, with my grandfather and the way my father raised me. my stepfather, who has been in my family since I was like 2 years old. I still talk to my real dad. He's dope. He's a musician. He's the one that got me into all this stuff here. But my stepfather was law enforcement. So I grew up under that law enforcement umbrella, which is very similar to military style stuff.
A lot of paramilitary training and all that good stuff.
Yep. And that's how I am, man. It's like, look, if I meet you, like, you're going to get my respect until you don't.
Yep.
Until you give me a reason to earn it. And when I was kind of floating around through life trying to find my spot, I find myself in like the automotive industry and in the construction industry and stuff like that. And it's the complete opposite for a lot of those guys in there. And I'm not saying like generalizing everybody in automotive and construction, but like I would get these jobs and I'd get on these job sites and they would treat you like garbage, dude, until you could earn and prove your trust to them.
Oh, don't get me wrong. That's still the same way you join the military. You're going to get treated like shit for a while, but it's different.
It's different though, but yeah,
that's an initiation.
Still a little bit of amount of respect there, but yeah, it wasn't like that in the automotive industry. It was wild, man. I'm glad I'm not in that anymore. I didn't fit in. Let's just put it that way. And then I end up in real estate, which is crazy. And that's like a whole story on its own. I came off a tour in 2014 and basically was like, oh man, dropping out of high school to pursue a music career. Got rejected from the military when we went into Iraq. Toured around for a long time, come back in my early 30s off of deciding that music is not for me. My son was growing up right underneath my nose and figured at one point in time I was going to come back off a tour. My wife and son were going to be gone. So I'm like, yeah, probably better get a regular job. So then I'm in this spot where it's like, dude, if you want to make any type of money, like you have to own your own business because no college education, no GED, no high school diploma, like your front desk. Wherever you are, you're going to be on the front desk somewhere. And there's not money in that, unfortunately, not to be able to provide for a family. And I wanted to pay my wife back.
You'd be lucky in 20 years to make it to where you're, living, you work comfortably.
Exactly. And even then it was going to be rare. Like, I did some stuff in the automotive industry. The highest I was able to climb was a shop foreman. But I could never get back there twisting wrenches making that kind of money because I didn't have the schooling. Even though I knew how to do it, because
the certifications and it's the letters behind the name and the titles, and that's really all it is. And to an extent, I mean, there is there is the sayings like it's not what you know, it's who you know, and quite frankly, like real estate's a great way to get into that. It's who you know. It's all connections, all relationships, and
right.
That's how I got into it. My wife told me I'd be good at it because I could talk to a brick wall. So
same. Look at us. I mean, we're like 22 minutes into this podcast. We haven't got on a real estate subject yet, dude. But so speaking of that, so you end up deciding that, hey, I need to do something else. What triggered that in you? Like, was it the family life and just like you'd mentioned before, like you're working massive amounts of hours, getting home, barely having any time with your kids. You're like, look, there's got to be something better.
Yeah. So really, it was the time one, like I was getting up at 4 a.m. I was getting to work at 5:30 and I had 2 meetings before PT at 6:30. Like dude. I was already in 2 meetings by 6:30 a.m. And then, you have 8 o'clock to 9:30 a.m. before you start work. Well, I would shower real quick and go start work. Or some days I would not go to PT and just work through PT. And I'm like, dude, just working. I was going through 5 meetings a day. Plus I had all the other tasks I had to do. And I'm like, I'm just getting burnt out, And I remember the big part of it, the big punch in the face is I was pulling staff duty, which is 24-hour shift at division. So like the 82nd division building. The generals are walking in, all this good stuff. And I was there every 3 days during Christmas break because I didn't take leave. So every 3 days I was pulling 24-hour duties. You had basically a 24-hour recovery and then day off and then back on. So I did that for about 3 weeks. And December 21st. And if I'm wrong on that date, it's going to really upset me. But I got a phone call from like 3 or 4 people. And I was like, dude, I can't talk right now. I'm working. And a really good buddy of mine from Alaska taught me a lot of the stuff that I know with my job at that point. He ended up killing himself. And he was in the same position I was in, like job position. And I'm like, man, if he's doing the same thing I am, like, and this dude is this much of a badass, like, what's to say I'm not going to wake up that next day, have a bad day, and nobody would ever thought he did it. Nobody would ever thought anybody else would do it. So I was like, I don't think this is it. I was like, because I started thinking, and then you spiral, and you're like, well, what's it going to look like for my kid? What's it going to look like for my wife? Like all this good stuff, and I saw it firsthand, and I got to do something else, and I started getting burnt out. I had mental issues going on, like in the truck at lunchtime, like anxiety attacks and panic attacks for no reason really whatsoever. And so, long story short, got in through all that. I was realizing like I missed a year of my kid's life, right. seeing him on Saturday and Sunday. So
not good.
No, it's not. So I told my wife, I was like, I'm done. I think I'm done. Like, I plan on 20 years. And she goes, well, whatever you do. She's like, that's fine. We don't got a lot of money. Like, I'm making decent money, but I can't support both of us. So whatever you're going to do, you better figure out a way to compensate that pension, because you could have retired at 43.
Right.
That's saying something. And I was like, well, guess I'll figure it out. And she's like, about a year before that, she told me I'd be good at real estate because she was going to get her license. Okay. She never did, because she likes doing back end work, Yeah. Like, she likes being behind the scenes, doing paperwork and all that good stuff. And she's not much of a people person as I am. And so I called my buddy from my hometown, little tiny hometown. He played professional baseball. I knew he did real estate, and that was it. I didn't know what he did with it whatsoever. He wrote a book, so I knew he was good at something. And he's like, well, let's hop on a call. Here's my Calendly link, like, all the stuff that we do now. And I'm like, wait, dude, like, I just wanted a 10-minute phone call, like, talk about real estate. And he goes, well, I got to schedule my days, man, because this is actually my job.
Right.
Like, talking to people about having a midlife crisis at, 30. Like, what do you mean this is your job? And he goes, well, I'm actually a real estate coach. And so I found out it's Jake Dixon. He owns the Locker Room coaching company, and it blew up. Like, he's one of the biggest ones in the country that is still relatively affordable.
Yeah.
And so he hooked me up with a guy. He goes, I got a guy in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was like, no, you don't. Like, you're from Illinois with me. You don't have somebody in North Carolina.
He's like,
one thing led to another, man. And he introduced me to Ruben Garcia, who was EXP's Mentor of the Year in 2024. And he introduced me to Shelby Johnson, who founded 5 Pillars, was the host of Real Estate Rockstars podcast.
Yeah.
She went on Bigger Pockets. Like, she just blew up Fayetteville with real estate and like really put her on the map. So I joined 5 Pillars and did an internship while I was in the Army. So it's called your CSP. So you get paid from the Army to do a trade or learn something or go back to school. Well, I got my license 2 weeks into it, and I sold 2 houses before I was even back to work.
Nice.
And yeah, so I sold 3 houses before I even got out of the military, which was really cool. It helped.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. And that was probably your good indication, like, hey, yeah, this is going to work. Like,
yeah, it was good. And then I'm like, well, that was 3. And I went 5 months without another deal.
Welcome to
so
real
it's
estate.
Like, oh, maybe I should take this serious.
Yeah, man, that's wild. But so you ended up getting into it. So now you've been licensed for how many years?
I got licensed in September of 2024. So I've only been licensed for about 14 months.
Dude, and you're crushing right now.
Oh, we're trying. It's the first year everybody says it was good. Like, I think by the time, so like, let's say I closed my first deal in November. So it started in September, closed first deal in November. And then, so from November to November, I had 12 deals closed and like 5 withdrawn or something that happened or whatever. So like, the opportunities were there. Sometimes they don't always go the way you want to. And I lost some money doing that and lost definitely some income. But then I see like you guys, and I see, Jeremy, and I see what some of these big hitters are doing, Jess Ross. Like, I see people that have been doing this for 10 years. I'm trying to compare myself to them.
Yeah, you can't do that.
they're doing 40 deals easily a year, and that's a slow year. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. But I understand why now, because I physically cannot handle any more than what I'm doing right now because I don't have those systems in place. It costs money to be able to do stuff on that big of a scale.
Right.
So
Yeah, it really does. But 12 deals in your first year, man. You're in the rare part of realtors. Most of them don't do anything their
I
first
see
year.
why, I see why, because honestly, if it wasn't for, VA disability and like having a consistent paycheck and my wife having a consistent paycheck, I see why people quit.
Yeah.
Because it costs money. And if you don't plan it out for those slow times, dude, it hurts. Like we're still hurting, like we're fine, but we're not saving any money. So.
Right. Yeah. Dude, that's it's a harsh reality of what it is in here. My mentor used to tell me all the time, like, Adam, if it was easy, everybody'd do it.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, you're starting your own business.
exactly.
And you see people start their own business and fail all the time, and you wonder why. And then you see this, and this is just a small piece of the puzzle. Like we're not managing multiple people that first year. Like we're not doing that.
Right.
I see how it happens.
Yep. And then couple that with a lack of discipline for a lot of people. Like, and this is probably, something that you didn't struggle with as bad as most people, but being self-employed and not having somebody telling you when you have to go to work and when you have to do stuff, it's very easy to get lazy and do other things.
That's this time of year for me is always that way because it's hunting season. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't
dude.
have to work today. Maybe I'll just push this appointment till tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, I will fully admit I'm the same way. We creep into the holiday seasons, and I'm like, yeah, this is actually the first year that I've been working consistently through the holiday seasons. Usually, I pretty much shut down right around Thanksgiving and don't come back till like second or third week of January.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot. I just saw somebody else the other day. He's a newer agent too. I just saw him said something about like I'm not working through the holidays, and like I can't imagine getting to that point to where like because you can consistently do it because you have that lead generation coming through. Like, hey, I do have the credibility to be able to do this. I can't imagine that. Like the stress that would put on me is like, well, if I don't work for a month, how the hell am I going to pick back up in a month? It's going to take me another 4 months to get a deal after that. But like, that's the other part of business. Like you got to be able to factor that in and plan that in to what you're doing. And someday I'm going to get to that point, but like, I can't think that far ahead yet. Like I just can't fathom it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get there, but
well, it's all about systems, right? And that's really the thing is, and I kind of realized that early on in my career because one of the reasons why I chose real estate when I first stopped with the music, I actually started a contracting company with my brother-in-law. He was a licensed general contractor out of New York and moved here to be with my sister here in Colorado, and he had the licensing, and then I've always been kind of like the geek on the back end with the marketing and stuff like that because of the band. Like you'd be surprised how much stuff is very much so similar to being a business owner to being in a band. Like you have to create your own marketing, you have to create your own branding, you have to get people to be aware of you, you have to build relationships to book shows. It's literally the same thing as real estate. So we did this contracting company for a couple years and we grew pretty well, ended up having like 25 employees, and it got to the point to where I was just chasing employees around, dealing with, drug addicts and people not showing up to work. And I'm pretty strict. My mom, my stepdad was law enforcement. My mom was a director of labor relations and human resource department for the largest luggage company in the world. So I had this kind of like I ain't taking no shit type of attitude. So I was firing dudes left and right. I'm hiring dudes and firing dudes. And
you're the ones I was afraid of when I was roofing houses and painting and all that stuff. Like that's all like, dude, that guy, I better show up.
Dude, I was nice. I just wanted people to come in and work. So like
those are the worst ones, the ones that are nice, but they're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. As soon as I caught you dicking around, it was on.
You expect something from people, and that nothing wrong with that by any means. That's how it should be.
But, and we were paying good too. And that was the thing is like, I'll pay you more than everybody else is going to pay you to do this job, but you need to show up. And
yeah, because everybody else is going to take it too. They'd love to have it.
Exactly. And that was the thing. I could fire somebody and fill their position in the same day. Like we
Yep.
had a backlog of apps. We had, a list of subcontractors that would come in and take it. We were getting multiple bids on the jobs that we were doing from any trade that we were taking on. We do lots of big projects like housing flips and stuff like that, and started working with like HOAs inside of like townhouse communities and doing like
Yeah.
deck jobs and stuff like that. So there was tons of work. We ended up getting a really big job where we were going to do like 160 decks on this giant complex, and they were cantilever decks. So we were hired to demolish the decks and then rebuild the new ones. They're cantilevered into the building, so it was tons of work. It wasn't just building a deck; it was drywalling, flooring, everything that would be involved with cantilever decks inside of these buildings. So we had all the trades out there, and it was super easy to find work, but just the ebb and flow and the lack of people taking personal responsibility just got to me. So eventually I was like, you know what, I'm done. I gave my partnership back to my brother, which caused a huge rift into the family. Everybody thought I was giving up on them and putting him in a bad position because I was basically running the back end of the company. I was finding our new jobs. I was selling
you're
the
the
jobs.
backbone of that.
Yeah, and so I went into real estate. I'm like, look, for the first time in my life, I'd like to be able to try something. And I know this might sound a little selfish, but I was sick of depending on people. Like,
that's the big thing, man. And that's what I see a lot of people getting out of the military. Like, as much as we're here about the government and all this stuff, like a lot of people in the military, like they're borderline anarchists, like because they've worked for the military for so long and the government, they're like, I don't want anything to do with it. I want to be left alone.
right?
Like they're tired of depending on somebody else to do their own thing. And you see a lot of entrepreneurs coming out of any sort of like military or really strict background. You see a lot of entrepreneurs coming out of it.
100%, man. And that was the thing for me. It was just like, look, if I'm going to finally try something, and if I fail at it, I want to be the one that's solely responsible for it.
Yeah, you can only blame yourself.
Yeah, I can only blame myself at the end of the day for it. And that was what was so alluring about this position, because like we got far in the band. We were touring, we were playing with big bands and stuff. We had opportunities that we had to
That's a
turn
whole
down.
nother show I want to talk to you about. Like, yeah, we're going to talk about some music one of these days.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it was a wild ride, man. It was a wild ride. But we had to pass up on a lot of opportunities because there were 6 of us, and we didn't make a lot of money doing this. Like, we weren't signed by a major label. We were independent. So when we would get opportunities, like we were getting major opportunities. We had an opportunity to tour with Korn. We played with Korn quite a bit, actually. A lot of
I'm so jealous of that. That's one of my favorite bands.
So awesome. I told Jonathan Davis, man, like, and he probably, like, to this day, he probably doesn't even know who I am. We played with Korn, I think 8 times, here locally in Colorado, and then toured around and did a whole bunch of other stuff. Played with a bunch of really cool bands, but Korn was like them and Slayer. Those were one of the 2 bands and Slipknot too. We played with Slipknot, and it was just like, oh my God, I grew up listening to you guys. Slipknot a little bit. I was a little older, right? I was in high school when Slipknot started getting big. But Korn, I was back in middle school, dude. So I told Jonathan Davis backstage at the Fillmore Auditorium one day, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, super fun to be playing with you guys. It's an honor. Grew up listening to you guys. I actually carved Korn into my knuckles when I was like 12 years old, and you just listen to your stuff. The whole time I'm telling him this stuff, he's looking at me. He's like, dude, you're stupid. Like, you are
you're
dumb
an idiot
person. Yeah. I thought he was going to be like, oh man, that's so cool.
Dude, that's so awesome. That's so metal, bro.
Yeah, no, he's like, you're dumb. And by the time we started playing with Korn, they had shifted, right? Korn had major issues with drugs and drinking and stuff. And they were fully sober when we were playing with them. And my band wasn't. So there was a lot of lack of respect there. Like, we were partying super hard. Our dressing rooms were usually next to their dressing rooms backstage when we were doing stuff, and my group would be partying, and they're like catching up on sleep because they just got back from Australia and they got jet lag, and we're being rude.
They're 10 years ahead of you guys because you guys are living their life 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's one of those things, man, where it like, we did get an opportunity though, because we would bring the house down when we played with them. Like, we were great show openers, so they were like, hey, you can do the Southwest Leg tour with us, or tour leg with us if you guys want. Here's the deal. This is what it's going to look like. And I'm like gung ho. I'm like, all right, let's roll, like, dude. I'm super down.
Opportunity of a lifetime.
Get the band together. I'm like, guys, look, we got this opportunity. Like, been talking with Korn's tour manager. They're like, hey, you can come, but there's stipulations to it. My drummer's like, dude, I can't get off work. my guitar player's like, dude, I can't get off of work. I got a job. Like, it's one thing to go tour out for a couple of days, but you want to be gone for like a couple months doing this stuff, dude? Like, it's not going to happen.
All right. Everybody sign up for Kaplan, get your real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're good. We
And
can
it was
work from
wild.
anywhere.
And I didn't work when I was with the band. Like,
Yeah.
luckily I met my wife before the band started doing anything, and she had a really good job. So
Yeah, that
like
helped.
when she's like, hey, just pursue your dream. If we blow up, we blow up. You'll be able to pay me back later type things. Not like monetarily, but you know,
Dude,
one
you
day she won't have to
found the
work.
right one for sure.
Oh, dude, I lucked out. I lucked out
Yeah.
big time, man. I
I
met
like to say
her.
I outran my coverage on my wife.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, she stuck with me through all of it, dude. So from 2008 to 2014, I worked for myself. Now I did make money. I still like did things like I was writing. I was like a hip hop producer for a local record label out here. So I'd produce music for them, then we'd record it and they'd sell it, and I'd get a chunk of that money there. My band did make a little bit of money. We were selling albums and selling merchandise and stuff like that, but it wasn't anything that was big that was going to like pay the bills and retire my wife someday. So
Yeah.
when I got into real estate, I was like, okay, yeah, this could be a major play for me to be able to get her not to have this serious career and have her spend more time with the kids.
That's the
and stuff.
exact reason that I got into it. Was like, how am I able to not only work? Because like I seen my dad worked at, for the most part, the same place. Shit, he's probably going on 30 years, if not more.
Yeah.
And now he's like he does like hydraulic hose fittings and stuff like that for big machinery.
Cool.
And now he runs that entire shop, and he's well off now, but it took him 30 years to get to that point.
Right.
And me and him were just talking about it. He's like, you know, it just doesn't happen like this anymore. He goes, some guy with barely a high school education is now, you know, running essentially the state like of Illinois for this company. He goes, I'm not going to retire because I make my own hours. I make the hours for my dudes, and I get all the time off that I need, that, you know, whatever it may be. He goes, but people like, you know, your age, that ain't going to happen anymore. Like,
Right.
it just doesn't, you know? And so when I was looking into it, it's like, how can I make my wife not work anymore? Not because she'll still work, but like she doesn't have to.
That's the key.
And
yeah.
Yeah. And then how am I going to give my kid something when he's 18? And, you know, making $20 an hour, or where I'm from, that's fantastic. Well, it was. I don't know if it still is, but
Right.
yeah, it's probably not much anymore.
Nowadays, yeah, you can't do much.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
making $50K a year, you're living pretty good at, you know, 30 years old. And it's like, but you go anywhere else, you're going to be working until you're dead. So
Yep, pretty much, man. So that's the beauty of real estate, right? That's
Yeah.
what can get that. Like, if you guys are watching here, you don't have a real estate license, and you're thinking like, man, I'd like to have some sort of way to have major control over my life and still be able to make unlimited amounts of money that are strictly dependent upon the effort that I put into it. Like, this is the key.
that's
right
the big thing is definitely the effort. Like, you can do real estate, you can be in production your whole life or your whole career, and you can do 10 deals a year, and, you know, that's good for you. Like,
Yep.
You can do that. That's totally fine. But you can do 10 deals a year. You can make 10 million a year. It just depends on what you want to do. And that's why I love it.
Yeah. You just have to be careful, because you can overwork yourself to the point to where you still miss out on a lot of things. And that was
That's
one of the
where I
things
had to
that
have
I did.
a come to Jesus moment here recently, just because, you know,
Yeah.
my wife was telling me, she's like, I understand, you know, you like what you're doing. I understand, you know, you like what you're doing. You want to get more. You want to keep doing more. But you just got to remember why you got out of the military. Like, you got to remember why you got out of the army. There's the hours. It was the time away from the family. Like, you're sitting here scrolling on your phone looking for properties for, you know, clients till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night for a $4,000 commission.
Right.
Over 9 months of work.
Yeah.
Like, you got to remember why you're doing what you're doing. And I hit a burnout within a year. Like, I hit a burnout real quick because I was trying so hard just to get her to not have to work and get something for my kid when he turns 18. And
Yep.
you got to be careful.
You do. And that's why systems are so important, right? So I know
Still working on mine.
me and you are both total blabbermouths on this. Look at it, we're like 43 minutes into this thing right now, and we haven't even got to the juices yet. So I'm going to pick up the pace on this, but this is a good segue to it because this is where the systems become so important, right?
That's when I burned out that I was talking about. That's when I started like reaching out to you guys and like listening to your stuff and watching your stuff, is because I was like, I need something. Because most people, that's why I tell everybody else, develop your systems while you have time.
Right.
Do it in the very beginning, because I didn't. I had 3 clients before I was even licensed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not have the time to do it. And now I'm kicking myself.
Yeah. Chasing your tail. And, then that's how you end up getting into that never ending loop of just constantly working. And the next thing you know, you blink your eyes, your kid's 18 years old, and you're like, holy crap. The whole reason I started this was to be able to spend more time with my family. And, with your training and your discipline, that's the one bad thing about that, is that you can be dialed in and not realize that you're putting too much time in. So getting those systems set up is what changes. So for me, I'm lazy, right? I'm like that. My entire time that I've been in real estate, my main goal was to do as much production as I could without losing time with my family. And when AI started getting popular and I started to realize the effectiveness of that, this is when my laziness kicked into high gear, because it was like, oh, if I can properly implement AI into my real estate business, then I could potentially work 1 or 2 hours a day. And
I didn't even know what Chat GPT was until like 2 years ago. And
well,
somebody
you're not
got
too
kicked
late.
out of somebody got kicked out of our leadership course because they used Chat GPT on a paper. And I'm like, what the hell is Chat GPT? And then I got into real estate. It's like, I'm never using that. Like, that's so impersonal, like blah, 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 blah. And then I met you on a land and ranch call. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't have to pay somebody to do stuff for me. I can have somebody that doesn't exist do it. And it still sounds like me, and I'm still in full control.
That's the key. It's just,
dude, it blew my mind. I remember the conversation to this day. I was interrupting everybody. I was like, you were saying something. I was like, wait, stop. Okay, I'll let you finish. But like, go back to that. You just made an entire month of blog posts in 30 seconds, script and all. And I'm like, I got to know this. What else can you do?
Yeah. And that's where it's wild. And as the technology continues to advance, it just gets even more and more crazy. The more stuff that we can do with it, and if it's implemented properly, which is where a lot of agents go wrong, is these guys are like, well, I'm going to get a voice AI agent, and that agent's going to call my leads for me, and it's going to build that relationship and get them ready to buy a house. And it's like, no, it's not.
It's going to tear your business down.
Yeah, it's gonna completely destroy your career. And it is impersonal. So like when you originally had that view on it, I think that you were correct there. It is impersonal, but what they don't pay attention to is the back end systems, the CRMs, all the other stuff that we
typing
need
in
to
a
do.
Google question. It's building stuff.
Yeah. It's your marketing partner, it's your business planner, it's your project manager, it's your negotiation coach. It's everything that we would usually have to spend a lot of money to learn from somebody else or employ somebody else to do for us. It can do, which then frees you up to actually be there to build the relationship with the leads that are ready. And that's the key. And this is why I can do what I do with the coaching side of things now, where 90% of my life is coaching agents on AI and CRM. And the other 10% is real estate. And I was able to implement so much automation into those systems there that it doesn't take much of my time to do that. And I can still
but
do
you're not letting anything
slip
slip through the crack, like either. You know exactly what's going on. Like if it doesn't sound like you're completely aware of it. And like, because I see people doing it. Like when you joined EXP back a year ago, when I joined, you had KV Core, and like if you set it up right at the time, like like you can automate a lot of stuff. But I seen what that was sending to me from other people. Like that's not that
not
person.
good.
I know it's not.
There's automation, and then there's personalized automation.
Yeah, and so that's why I was so against it for that first year until I met what you're doing, specifically you. Like seriously, like Jeremy kind of introduced me to it. Jeremy Kane introduced me to it in Myrtle Beach, kind of showed me how to do it for research, and that's been the big game changer. And then I obviously like developed a little bit more listening to you and other people. But like, it's the simple fact that, you know how to do it the right way.
Right.
You're not missing anything.
No. It's all there. My business is running right now as we're on this podcast. Like,
You're not
my
afraid that you're going to miss a text message.
no. And if the text comes through, then, like, depending on the importance of it, usually I like to be the human in the loop to jump back in. I still have that control factor. But the reach outs that attempt to set the appointments that get things
Yep.
going, that's all automated.
The stuff that nobody really likes doing, because
Right.
it's small talk and it's like, it's time consuming, like once
Hmm.
you're in it, like you see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, okay, I see this. It's a transaction coming through. I'm going to take it. I'm going to handle that.
Right.
But it's the little stuff where it's like a 50-50 chance whether or not they go with you to begin with.
Exactly. And instead of wasting all that time using the old school approaches where I'm not saying money's not made on the phone anymore, but I'm saying there's a better way to do it. I would call my leads if I was still full time in real estate, but I wouldn't call them to qualify them. I'm not trying to build a relationship over a telephone with somebody. I'm trying
Like,
to
hey, let's
use
hop on a
that
call, see if
phone.
we're a good fit. Like,
Yeah.
you want them to come to you because they already know you're a good fit.
Exactly. So that's where all of the education and information comes throughout the automations and the text messages and the emails and the videos and all this other stuff. And then when they're ready to have that when they're ready to have that conversation, I take it to Zoom or I take it in person,
Mm-hmm.
where we can be there. They can see I'm a real person. And that's really the key to it all. You set up all the back end automation system. You understand how to do lead gen and you pick out what it is that you want to do. We use AI to find out, hey, this is what I like to do. What would be the good client avatar for this? It helps you find your client avatar. You build your entire marketing plan out there. You build out all your CRM, nurture campaigns, everything like that through the AI clone that you create. And now you have this entire personalized automation system that's significantly different than anybody else in the industry and what they're doing, because they're looking for the easy button, which this truly is the easy button. You just have to be committed to setting it up.
I
Right.
remember after that Landon Ranch call, and he's building your own avatar, and mine's AI Jake,
Yeah.
and AI Jake is what you see. And I'm not even afraid to admit it. I tell people this, like, AI Jake is what you see on social media posting about real estate.
Yeah.
It is 100% what I tell it to post. And this is simple. This is me talking to it, and it spits out something that doesn't sound like an idiot,
Right.
And I built it for like 2 weeks, though. I spent 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
answering the questions. I probably did a 40-page paper
Good.
to Chat GPT answering the questions. Cause I remember what you said is like, be as detailed as you can.
Yep.
And you could see it. It was night and day. Like the first post I made about it compared to what I was doing before, it had so much more attention. And it was because it was relevant and it didn't sound like, some hick from the backwoods using social media for the first time. So
Right. And that's the key. And most agents don't want to do that process because they just want those immediate results. But those results are canned. They're the same, or they're using like Keeping Current Matters, which is, was a great company. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but you got 30,000+ subscribers onto that, posting the exact same blog online. Like, how do you set yourself apart? And when we have to assume that most leads, especially if you're like me, I do online lead gen. Most of my leads that come in, I have to assume that they're in at least five different agents' ecosystems. And most of those agents are going to be posting that stuff. So how do I set myself apart? Well, I do it by, creating that AI clone and then it understanding my entire aspect of my business and what I'm trying to achieve with it, and then creating content around that. And it can get even deeper than that. Like when I'm doing blogs now, I used to just be like, give me these blog ideas and then write these blogs. And it was like, that worked really well for a while. And now it's like, okay, cool. Here's the blog idea that I got. I think it's great. But now let's have a conversation about what I think on this subject and what I think I would do and the way that I would approach it. So it already knows what I'm going to be interested in, gives me that idea. I choose that idea. Then I go into another consultation with it and give it my 2 cents, give it what I would do in the situation, how I want it to be. And then it writes it out, SEO optimizes it, do all those other cool things, gives it the AEO, everything that we need in the back end, and then post it. And now it's
then you see
this is custom.
the difference between what you're doing right there and the difference between, and cat's out of the bag. If you have M dashes on something on social media, it's ChatGPT, and I knew that before I even knew how to use this stuff. And what you're doing there, you can completely erase the fact that like, hey, this guy didn't just copy paste first little thing. No, he went in there. Like for me, I'll tell it to do something and it'll be 25-30 minutes later after I refine it, tune it, tell it to change certain things. Like, because it, at the end of the day, it is a computer. It's not personal.
Right.
So you have to tell it still each time to make it sound a little bit more like you, a little bit less of this, a little bit more of that. Like I remember another one. It's like, make it visually appealing. Cool. Like make it a little bit more blue collar, make it use emojis, like whatever it is, don't use emojis, you know?
Yeah.
But the people that are just straight up, I just learned what Chat GPT was and I did this and look at this post and there's a, you know, it's a cartoon with emojis and it's like,
not good.
No,
not good and very
you're
obvious.
doing the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Yeah. You know, I think the big thing that kind of helped me with this, and maybe this will help a lot of the people watching that are just getting into AI, is like this is single-handedly the smartest thing that humans have ever placed their hands on. But if you don't know how to communicate with it properly, this is why they call it Chat GPT. It's an iterative process of prompting. It's not prompt GPT. It's not just one and done where a lot of people try to do with it. You have to pretend like you're sitting in an office with, you know, a consultant that's the best consultant in the world for whatever subject it is that you are. You wouldn't just go into this office and say, hey, Mr. Consultant, this is what I'd like to do. And then the consultant's like, hey, here's your plan. You're set to go.
Yeah.
Like it would fail 10 times out of 10 if that was the process. So I visualize it like, how would a consultant approach this? And I've even talked to AI about this. I'm like, hey, if you were a consultant and you knew that this was the goal I wanted to achieve, how would you approach that? And the AI is like, oh, well, I'd ask you a series of questions that have to do with this. And it's like, well, let's do that then.
I started doing that a lot more approach. I'd tell it what I wanted, right? Or I'd give it whatever it is. And you tell me how to get the best answer for this.
Yeah.
And then it builds that prompt out, you know, and it's been hands down way better. Or using multiple GPTs or AI, like ChatGPT, I thought for the longest time was just so accurate. And then I started looking at it. I was like, that's not even true.
Yeah. AI hallucinations, man.
Yeah. I hit you up the other day about the hallucination prompt and then like which GPTs to use for certain things. And EXP just had their AI accelerator course that I went to the first couple of them. And then I still haven't got through the last couple ones yet. I gotta rewatch them, but they had like 4 or 5 different AI or GPTs or whatever they are to use for different things.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized it's like I was running my CMAs off of one that was not built for research.
Right.
And so then I ran it off another one. There's $100,000 difference on, you know, $500,000 piece of land. Yep. And so now I'm comparing the two and you got to put in your own human effort. Like it's not the easy button. Like you say, it's not Staples anymore. You know, you can't just press that easy button, slam it on there. You still have to work.
You still have to work. It just greatly reduces the amount of time you have to put into it.
Hours off of what I was doing.
Oh, 100%, man. Like, like, and it's funny because we kind of get a little bit lazier with it the more you use AI, the more you get used to those quick results. And then you kind of got to catch yourself. Like one of my buddies, he's, excuse me, I'm choking. He's one of my agents. He hits me up the other day. Hang on.
Oh yeah, I better hydrate as well.
Gotta hydrate. Yeah, he hits me up the other day. He's like, hey man, I'm making blogs. I've got about like 30 of them done. And you know, I'm spending like 20 to 30 minutes on each blog. And this is just kind of taking a while. Like, is there any way to trim this down? And I'm like, listen to yourself for a second, dude. Like how long would it have taken you to write this blog in that exact quality before the AI?
Well, remember back in the day, people were getting paid to be authors for blogs in like dial-up internet days.
Ghostwriters,
it'd take them weeks, man.
Weeks. Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing that, you know, we have to realize is it's like, if I can write a series of blogs in about 30 minutes and I can take that little bit of 30 minutes to give the iteration to the Chat GPT or to Gemini or whatever, everybody knows I love Gemini. But if I can give that information in that 30 minutes to them and then have it turn around and create 20 or 30 blogs based off that information that I just took on there, it would take me weeks or months to write 30 blogs.
Oh yeah.
Not only to write 30 blogs, but to write them effectively. And
there's a reason that people like with podcasts or blogs, they have a backlog of things because it took them that long to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it take them that long to do the next one. So,
Right. Like I used to
but
write
now,
CRM drip campaigns back in the day by myself. This is
oh
before
yeah,
AI was a thing, and I was
I
always
was
into
starting
my
to do that
CRM.
when AI was a thing. When I first started going, I was like, okay, this is KV Core's drip campaign. I'm gonna rewrite it. You know, we and 5 Pillars that I joined with, they already had canned emails, which is great, but it still took me all day to make it sound like me. You know,
100%.
yeah.
And even if you took a canned email and started rewriting it, it's multiple days worth of work. And I would write these from scratch because I hated the canned emails. I knew that they didn't work. So I would go in and create like 2, 3, like I had a 5-year past client drip campaign, hand wrote
Yeah.
every single email that I ended up re-putting in and typing up and figuring out the structure for it. It took me weeks.
Oh, this works for this client, but doesn't work for this client.
Yeah, exactly. And then, oh, we got to adjust this for where the market's at now and all
Yeah.
this other kind of stuff. And it's like, now I just jump on my bot and I'm like, hey, like I've created a custom GPT that'll handle all of this and go through all the right question and answers that we need to go through to create these effective campaigns. And I can create a 3-year nurture campaign for a first time home buyer in about 30 minutes flat. And
Dude,
I'm not just saying creating, I mean, ready to fire, like
and
writing the
that's
emails,
what I
placing it in
want to get to
Lofty,
that
and
point.
turning it on. But yeah, no, just the efficiency with AI is insane, and this is where we have to be able to get to fully set up those systems, because you can have a lot of free time and still run a really big, successful real estate business if you know how to implement this stuff properly. So I think you're on the right track, man. You're absolutely crushing it on
What
that.
you guys have done, like everybody's using AI for certain things. Well, I've tailored it to what I'm doing, and it's saving me time. Like first time anybody's interested in land, I run it through a series of prompts. I'll pick out the land. I'll run it through a series of prompts. I can from here to California, and I did it with Shane Carvalho, right?
Yep.
So me and him were talking about a property out in California that just happened to fall in my lap, possibly, as a referral or something. I was within, I think it was 50,000, or it was a multi-million-dollar property. It was like $12 million property. I was within 500,000 of like what it should be listed for versus what it should be bought for. And like
Nice.
these land valuation things, I've taken what you guys have given me, I've turned it into what I do. I can find within 70% confidence
Yeah.
if the soil is going to work. Well, that just saved my client $2,000 of due diligence money, So it's been a big game changer for me. Like I showed properties to people that I never should have showed because they were trash land, like not good land. Well, now I don't do that.
Now you can figure it out. Yeah. And the best part is, man, is this is the worst it's ever going to be. Like it only gets better from here, So it's just going to be a game changer. But
I have a robot upstairs working in my office, and I'm going to be downstairs.
Heck yeah! Oh, exactly. Oh, I can't wait. I don't want to digress, but I cannot wait for the rise of the robots. Everybody's freaking out, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm gonna get the new Tesla bot, and it's gonna do my laundry. It's gonna wash my car. It's gonna
somebody
do
could do my laundry. I would be set for life.
If you could tell me right now that there's a bot, which there is, but it's not very good yet. And this is thing, like robotics still have a ways to go before they can be really effective. But the day that I don't have to do dishes and the day that I don't have to do laundry anymore, and it's kind of funny because my wife's going to watch this. She's like, you don't do that anyways. But
I don't even need a dresser or anything. Like I just live out of my clothes basket from a month ago of the laundry.
So do I. My wife will fold it and then set it on my dresser for me to put away, and I'll just pick off the top of the dresser. This has got to be a man thing. So let me rephrase that, right? The day that my wife doesn't have to do laundry or do dishes anymore, which we usually make the kids do that, but to be able to have something like that for the cost of a small car. Like these bots are going to be coming out for like $35,000 for the base model. Like that is worth it for me. Think about it. We spend $50,000 on a car to take us from A to B and make sure that we've got, our heated seats or self-driving, whatever the thing is that you like. Like for me, it's worth the money to bring a bot in and clean my house, dude. Like, do you know how much more time I could have with my family if we weren't busy doing chores?
I had a conversation with somebody that said they have somebody do their lawn, they have somebody buy their groceries, they have somebody clean their house. And I'm like, dude, you are like super yuppie, dude. Like, what? And he goes, yeah, that's $3,000 a day that I can make. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because they broke it down as $400 an hour working with a client. That's what they were making.
Dude, delegation, man. This is what Louis talks about. And, it's actually pretty funny because, like, Louis asked me one day, like, I'm like, I want to hire a VA because AI wasn't really at this point to be able to build the things that I needed to build. I'm trying, like, it's one thing to go on and build a real quick website on Lovable. Everybody can go do that. Great.
Yeah.
Is it going to function the way you need it to function? Probably not. So I needed this, and I'm like, yeah, I was gonna hire a VA to do this, a website designer and stuff, and I don't know. I just every time I think about doing it, I'm like, then I'm gonna have to upload all the information to them and explain to them, and by that time I might as well do it myself. And he's like, do you hate money? Like flat out asked me, he's like, do you hate money? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to make it. That's why we're going through. He's like, so stop being dumb and just get the information over to the web designer and let them do it so you can go do something else, because it isn't worth your time to be doing that. And that's kind of the thing that I had to realize. So I do have 2 VAs now. Yes, the AI guy does have human VAs, but guess what? I trained them on AI. So I got I got 2 VAs that operate like 10 VAs.
If I can learn it, anybody can learn it. I was 100%. So against that. I was afraid that like Russia was looking at my Facebook. Like they must be bored. You know what I mean? They got nothing better to do.
Right. But that's the key. You bring up a really good point. Like if AI was so hard, then it would be in the labs with all the geeks.
Yeah.
The fact that you see it everywhere. It was. Well, because it sucked. It was hard. It really, until 2015 when Google invented the transformer technology, we didn't really have generative intelligence yet.
Yeah, but now here we are. Me and you can use it on a cell phone.
Yeah. Which I do every day. I do it for everything.
Like I talk to mom. Somebody told me the other day you could talk to it, and I'm like, oh
yeah, yeah. That's the most of the way that I prompt now. I'm not. I don't like to sit there and type, so I'll usually just start speaking back and forth.
I need to do that for sure.
It's the best way to do it, especially if you're.
Because then they understand how you talk too. Because no matter what you do, if you're texting, typing, you sound different.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. And I wanted a speech pattern duplication, which is when I loved it when advanced voice mode came out. But yeah, man, we're going to have to continue this. Like me and you, we can talk for a long time. I think it's pretty clear to everybody on here now that's been watching.
They're just going to have to tune into my podcast when you're on there.
Yeah. I want to be on the pod. Yeah, man, definitely get me on your pod. Let's jam out.
We've got 2 episodes recorded. They're in the bank. We're waiting until the first of the year to launch, I think. So.
Heck yeah. Well, that's dope, man. I think it's you're going to crush it out here, man. I'm super glad that we got to meet in Miami this year in person, and looking forward to watching you grow, man. If you guys are watching this right now and you're thinking like, damn, this is a pretty cool dynamic that's going on here, well, like you can be a part of this too. So just click the pinned link in the comment below, or pinned link. Wow. Just click the link in the pinned comment below. I already said that. Either way. We can jam out. Like, look, real estate doesn't have to be a lonely world. Real estate doesn't have to be hard. The things that we do over here inside of Carbon Collective are next level. And
we're on a team, like we're doing it by ourselves now, but we're not by ourselves.
We're not. Yeah. We're a team without the BS that comes with the team. Yep. And we love to help each other out. We don't keep secrets. So if you're at a brokerage right now, or you're just on your own and you're thinking like, dang, I need to fast track this. I need to be around some people that are like-minded, that are interested in this tech, that are interested in bettering ourselves as people and growing our real estate careers, then, click the link. Let's have a conversation. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I just want to see what we can do to try to help you out, whether that's partnering with us, whether that's jumping into the Apex Elite AI membership, partnering with Jake. Either way, just click that. Let's have that combo and see what we can do, because it can be life-changing. It was for me. I know it was for you as well, Jake. So
that's
thank you so much.
It, man. I asked a simple question to the right people, and I'm to this day, like I'm just kind of the weird uncle, the weird homie in the background that just keeps showing up to places he doesn't belong, and people keep helping me for some reason.
Dude, because you're a cool dude, man. And it's nice. It's nice to be around people who are genuine like that. And you're gonna crush, man. Super proud of you so far. We're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 of this podcast because we still got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So we'll have you back on, and I want to get on yours. But before we go on this, let the people know where they can find you. I know you got your podcast launching. You're crushing it in the land and ranch field. So we'll make sure to link your socials and everything like that. But let's send this off right. Tell people where they can find you, and give us any last words you got, man.
Yeah, man. Really the best place you can find me is just, I think Facebook and Instagram, probably both, is djake.logan, I believe. We'll have to double check that, but we'll type it out so it's right. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram is a really good one. Once you get on there, I'm probably immediately going to ask for your phone number because I don't check those all the time. But other than that, like, just surround yourself with the right people, like-minded people. Ask the questions. Don't be afraid to be the person in that room that doesn't belong there, because odds are, like, you're going to provide value. That's what I've done my whole life.
Hell yeah.
I've never been the best at anything. I never had really anything to offer, but eventually, like, it pans out. People appreciate somebody that actually wants to be there. So
love it, dude.
That's how I've got it, and that's where I see the best people, succeed at what they're doing.
100%, man. Always shoot your shot, peeps.
Yep.
Don't hesitate to do that. The more you hesitate, the more you miss out on. You never know where a simple conversation can go, what it can do for you, how it can change your life. So just do it. If it fails, do it again somewhere else. Eventually, you're going to strike gold and you're going to rock. So, Jake Logan, thank you so much for jamming out with me today, man. I had a blast. We're going to have you back. Yeah, man, I know you're going to crush it in this world here. So I'm going to be following you, and I know you follow me. So we'll keep you posted and make sure that we keep everybody up to date.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Absolutely, brother.
It's been helpful.
Cool, man. Well, we'll catch you on the next one, dude. All right, peeps, that was a banger. Jake's story is a perfect reminder that you don't need a decade into the industry to build momentum. You just need discipline, the right mindset, and a willingness to actually do the work. And if you pair that with smart AI systems, you stop drowning in busy work and start playing offense. So the big takeaways for me were simple. Stay consistent, build real relationships, and use AI to support your follow-up, your organization, and your daily execution. Not to replace you, but just to multiply you. And if you guys got value out of this episode, do me a huge favor, hit like, subscribe, and share this with an agent who's been feeling stuck or overwhelmed. And if you're watching this thinking, man, I want that kind of community, that kind of training, and that kind of support, then you need to check out what we're building inside of the Wolfpack and Carbon Collective. There's no fluff, no BS, just high-level agents helping each other win. I have the link in the description in the pinned comment so you can book a quick call, and let's just see if you're a good fit. Jake, I appreciate you, brother. I am proud of you, and we'll catch you on the next one.